This episode is brought to you by Distill Union. Hi everyone, this is Edgar, the host of Snug Wrestling. They design everyday carry gear with one simple idea: less but better. From slim Wally wallets with magnetic closures to Ferris key organizers, they keep everything clean and quiet. Distill Union makes carrying your essentials effortless. Built from full grain leather and backed by a 3-year warranty, simplify your carry and save 20% off with promo code SNUG at DistillUnion.com. That's 20% off with promo code SNUG at DistillUnion.com.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
What's going on? Good evening, everybody. We are back once again for Monday Night Raw review. 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away for WrestleMania. One Monday Night Raw left, one down, one more to go until WrestleMania. Next week is going to be in my hometown. I will be there, which I'm pumped for. And we got a lot to talk about. We saw a lot of things happen tonight, Monday Night Raw, leading up to Mania. The Snug Crew is here. We're going to review it. We're going to go over everything. Welcome, fellas. How was your guys' Easter?
Weekend was good. I don't celebrate Easter. I'm an omnist, so I don't really follow all that stuff. But my wife and I did meet up with my mom for lunch. And then my wife and I basically just kind of spent the day driving around, and just kind of enjoying the weather, really. That was about it. Other than that, really excited about WrestleMania being literally less than, at this point, 2 weeks away. I'd say we're, 12 days away from Mania. And we've got one more Raw and 2 SmackDowns until the granddaddy of them all, which really pumped for. I'd also like to note, so everybody's aware of it, at the start of the show, and it will be mentioned again at the end of the show, we will have WrestleMania predictions coming up next week on Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday, but we will be splitting up the predictions. So there will be a night 1 prediction, which will be the main crew. And then the night 2 prediction will be myself, Snug, and a special guest that we will not reveal yet. So look forward to that. But that will be taking place not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, the Wednesday of the week of WrestleMania itself. So get ready and stay tuned for that, and more details coming on that. But other than that, I'm ready to get into the show. It was, I wouldn't say it was a great show. It wasn't a bad show. It was a middle of the road show. A lot of stuff setting up for Mania. Not a lot of, nothing like, incredibly like holy shit, except for a couple, like maybe 2 whole things, maybe the very beginning with Punk and the very end, which we'll talk about. But I felt like this show kind of was a step down from the last couple of G levels. Other than that, let's get into Raw. Toxic, how'd you feel about everything? How you doing?
To be honest, I forgot that Sunday was Easter. That's how long I haven't celebrated. Ely did something whenever I was littler, but I haven't done it here in a while. But regarding that, the show tonight was good for me. There was things that I popped big on, and there was things that I felt could use some work. But other than those like small, like very small little details, other than those small details, the show was amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're still waiting on Tommy. He should be joining us here in a bit. But yeah, we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up for the channel. We had a busy weekend. Just really quick before we get into the show, Tommy and I did Stand and Deliver review. That's out now. We had a cool interview with really cool guests. Dayo Adebola, the Black Looney Tune, was on our show. Huge wrestling fan, so we got to chop it up with him. That episode is out now too. Go check that out. And we got more other exciting guests coming up here in the future. Also in May, hopefully. We're still trying to figure that out. But welcome, Tommy. How you doing, bro? You ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm ready to roll, besides the technical issues that I've been having. But other than that, I'm good.
All right, let's get into it. So, yeah, I mean, some might say this episode of Monday Night Raw was kind of a step down from last week, but it started off really fucking good. Started off kind of crazy with CM Punk's promo, and he had a good, what, this was like a 10-minute segment at least, right? I mean, CM Punk was out there for a while, and he shot at everybody, man. Like, he cut a promo on Roman. He mentioned Pat McAfee. He mentioned The Rock, and the fact that Roman Reigns was not there, he broke that news to the fans in Houston because they were in the Toyota Center, and the fans started booing CM Punk, and CM Punk is like, you guys are booing me because Roman Reigns is not here? I'm here. What? He can't show up because I almost crippled him because I put him through a table? He put me through a table. I showed up the next week. Why are you guys booing me? And it's CM Punk, right? CM Punk has the power. If he wants to, he can get you to boo him or he can get you to cheer him. And the fans were kind of like flopping back and forth from cheering Punk to booing Punk, cheering Reigns, booing Reigns. It was a crazy promo, crazy roller coaster ride. But I think it's safe to say, after everything that was said by CM Punk in this promo, CM Punk won the fans over with that one iconic line. He said, that agent that put you in this storyline, that put you in this business for WrestleMania, tell him to lower the ticket prices. And I don't care who you are, love or hate CM Punk, that line is automatically going to get over with everyone. Because if it's one thing every fan agrees on, those are some expensive ass fucking tickets. But I thought this was a lovely promo, great way to kick off Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, this promo segment was extremely interesting. At first, I think a lot of people in the audience, and I'm sure a lot of people at home, felt like they were like, where's Punk going with? There was kind of a weird pacing to the way that he was setting up his promo. He would speak a few minutes, pause, pace around, speak a few minutes, pause, let the audience answer, speak, and he would just keep repeating that. And it almost seemed like he didn't actually have a guideline of, here's the bullet points we want you to hit in this promo. It almost felt like they said, you know what? We're all wrestlers. TKO isn't. Go out there, shoot from the hip, say what you want, and we'll fucking protect you. That's what this felt like. Because he went out there and said shit I didn't think they would ever let anybody mention on WWE TV. Friday alone, the stuff Pat McAfee was able to say and get away with, cussing, like dropped an F-bomb, a couple of S-bombs on USA Network, mind you. And I'm sitting here like, he's sitting here mentioning the Attitude Era. He's sitting here talking about like, this stuff that's so fourth wall breaking that it's like, this is not WWE Unreal. What's going on here? Punk literally said two things I did not think they would ever allow him to say. One, he straight up blamed and called out TKO by name. Okay? That's the fucking parent company that owns UFC and WWE. And two, him straight up mentioning, call that age, they're complaining about low ticket sales. Well, Pat, why don't you call up that agent that brought your stupid ass back here and tell him to lower the ticket prices so all these people can watch me stomp on Roman Reigns' chest at WrestleMania. And I was like, there's no way TKO approved him shooting on them. That was something that I'm thinking Bruce, Nick, and Trips were all like, because the reports came in this morning that everybody in WWE, specifically the higher ups, like at Triple H's level, even up to like Nick Khan, like Cody Rhodes, like the performance, they were all legitimately pissed off that TKO interfered last minute. Because from what they understand, Pat was never a plan 2 weeks ago. It was never about that. It was supposed to be Cody and Randy, and they inserted Pat out of nowhere. They forced him in because they wanted to get someone that sports fans would recognize, because the first hour of WWE's WrestleMania on both nights is streaming on ESPN2 free before it goes completely over to the app. And they inserted Pat so he'd have cross-stream appeal for the sports fans who don't watch WWE. That's why they forced Pat in here against WWE's writers and their producers' wishes. So this is WWE literally basically telling TKO, fuck you. And I love it.
There's one thing that I always like with CM Punk, and it's always when something like, I don't exactly know what the word is, but like controversial, that's the word. When something controversial or just mind blowing, like for instance, John Cena turning heel at Elimination Chamber in 2025. I mean, the Monday after he went in, he put everyone on blast, and yeah, and that's what he did exactly tonight. And there's just something I like about CM Punk and these types of promos because it reminds me a little bit of the pipe bomb, but just on a lower scale, just a teeny tiny bit. Actually, during Blood's turn, I got a YouTube notification that says to Pat McAfee, sincerely CM Punk. So that was funny. But the entire shit with Pat, because I didn't get to get my words out on it because I wasn't here on Friday, it's stupid as shit. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. But CM Punk's promo was awesome.
I love the fact that this is now the second show in a row, that being SmackDown and now Raw, that Ari Emanuel has been mentioned, not by name, but he has basically been mentioned. Because Cody Rhodes did it on Friday when he was talking about, hey, what are you going to do? Fire me? What'd that do for you last time? So, full on mentioning him there. And now Punk is mentioning him here with everything involving Pat McAfee. And at this point, yeah, tell me and just stop me when CM Punk was telling lies. Because at that point, I'm talking forever because he wasn't. He full-blown was not telling any lies whatsoever. And that's just how CM Punk is. He does not care. And he proved this with the pipe bomb years ago that he will say nothing but facts. He won't say anything but the truth in that point.
Yeah, what's the line he said tonight? He said, I'll blow the bridge up while I'm standing on it because I'm not afraid to swim.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, like, what is Roman's response going to be next week? Because he has to respond. Like, CM Punk fucking cut the damnest promo on Roman Reigns and said everything that you can probably imagine about Roman Reigns that a lot of fans already think, they already believe. Like, I got a quote here from the promo that said, you, Roman Reigns, are a buck-toothed Nepo baby who ate dog food for a weird old man. And went as far as calling him fake, plastic, safe, boring. You know, that's why they send you to the talk shows, because they'll never send me. They don't know what I'm going to say. I'll just blow up, you know.
Because Roman's a company guy. They know he'll toe the line.
Yeah, so that was it's a great way to kind of highlight the difference between Roman and Punk, and it kind of gives the fans like, okay, who do we want to cheer for? Who do we prefer? Both guys are great, but Roman is this, CM Punk is completely different, right? But yes, the whole thing about this strategy that WWE is doing, letting Pat McAfee go all out like that, CM Punk pointing out the obvious in this promo about the ticket sales being so high. I mean, that a lot of this is response to the low ticket sales at WrestleMania, and I think that's great. If we did more of that, if the fans, I'm not gonna say boycott the WWE, but if they decide like, hey, we're not gonna pay for those prices, that's gonna force the WWE's hand to try new shit, and I love that.
I'd like to point out two very important things here as well before we move on. Notice the different sides of these coins. On Friday, literally Cody Rhodes called them out because Pat McAfee in his promo was told to bury Cody Rhodes. He was told, you're going to basically go out there and tell the world the reason that WWE sucks right now is because you're doing a bad job. You're not a draw. You're boring. you're a failure. You're a fucking corporate shell robot with no flavor. Notice how on Monday, CM Punk goes out there and he goes, no, the real problem is TKO. Lower the ticket prices and then business will be better. WrestleMania will be sold out, because Pat in his promo was told, put that on Cody too, that the ticket sales were low. He put that on Cody. So I love that on Friday when they forced Pat into the story, it's whatever TKO made him say, that's what he said. And on Monday, Triple H goes, I got the perfect guy for the job. Punk, go out there and shoot from the fucking hip. And Punk was probably backstage like, aye, Captain. But those two things I think are massively important here. But also, I think it's the other thing I wanted to say, with Roman specifically, right? This is important because from the perspective of the audience, Roman is all these things. But for Punk to literally personally hemorrhage in his promo, he made 2 different sticks at Vince McMahon. This is now the 3rd or so week in a row where Vince has been hinted at or mentioned in some kind of way on WWE. They avoided it for 2 years. And in 3 weeks, they have literally mentioned him 3 or 4 times in some capacity. And I just wanted to note that because I don't know how many people are keeping count, but it's getting much more frequent.
All right, the first match of the night was LA Knight versus Austin Theory. And for once, I was kind of upset about the whole commercial thing, like cutting off right in the middle of the match, like right when the match started, because this was a match that I really wanted to see. I love Austin Theory's work. LA Knight's a great worker. And I'm like, man, it's a one-on-one match, which I feel like we hardly ever get anymore with 2 great workers, because it's always a fucking triple threat or a 6-man or a hardcore match or blah, blah. But this was just one-on-one, LA Knight, Austin Theory. Perfect. And you had ISHO Speed, Logan Paul ringside. So they added that element too. Besides the great match on paper, they added that element of what's going to happen here. Something's going to happen, right? And it does. Austin Theory and LA Knight have a great match for the little bit that I was able to see because of commercials. And LA Knight shoves ISHO Speed against LA Knight behind his back. So kind of to make LA Knight think like, oh, I just got attacked from behind by ISHO Speed, which got a huge pop. ISHO Speed, I got to give him props, man. I think he fits really well in the WWE. ISHO Speed. His facials are on point. He adds to the story where he doesn't make it look like just he's with it. He understands it. He knows what he has to do. He knows his role. He has respect for it. And I think he's doing a great job. So I liked all of this. ISHO Speed was trying to get away. LA Knight is chasing him. The Usos come out. They corner ISHO Speed. But somehow ISHO Speed manages to get away. Austin Theory gets a surprise roll-up on LA Knight, and he wins. I mean, the outcome of this was good because Austin Theory just became World Tag Team Champion last week, and he won again 2 weeks in a row. I thought this was lovely, y'all. But what'd you guys think?
Well, I'll start by saying it ended where I called it like a week or 2 ago when I said this is going to be a 6-man tag. And lo and behold, it was announced for Mania. It is going to be the Usos and LA Knight versus the Vision and ISHO Speed at WrestleMania in a 6-man tag match with no fucking stakes. But when it came down to it, the match was really good. Always happy to see them when they start giving LA Knight spotlight. I'm not an LA Knight hater. I'm an absolute LA Knight supporter. I've also been a massive fan of Austin Theory since he's been back. And even before he's been back, I was following him on TikTok for most of his injury time. And he's just a really positive guy, and I really like him and being. Also, extremely glad 2 weeks in a row, he's now back in his dope gear variants that he returned in, the pants with like those like built and sewn in knee pads. Because he wore them 1 week when he came back, and then he just started wearing the trunks. And I was like, no, not the trunks. The other look was way cooler for a repackage. So it's nice to see that back. They had a great match. The ISHO Speed stuff, I'm not as high on it as you are. I think ISHSP definitely fits in the entertainment aspect for sure. His facials are what are annoying me. He's a little too overly expressive, and he spends a lot of the time trying not to smile, and he's corpsing half the time. Corpsing meaning he's fighting the urge to smile, and it's happening anyway. And to me, that breaks my immersion in serious moments, because even when he's getting hauled away by the Vision, he's like literally like this, like he's just so excited to fucking be there, which I understand. I would be too, but you got to be in the moment, try to be a little bit more present, and just try to hone in more self-contained storytelling with your facial expressions. It does tell a lot. I mean, if you want any proof of that, ask Roman Reigns and ask Jey Uso. They've got the best facial game in all of WWE, in my opinion, thanks to their years in the bloodline of honing that skill. But other than that, I'm not mad at it. Right guy won, especially to keep a new champ strong. And at Mania, I'm sure this will be fun. I'm interested to see what ISHSP does in the ring. He almost blew out his quads the way Vince did at Royal Rumble all those years ago when Batista and John Cena hit at the same time. I don't know if you saw when he slid in the ring. He banged his fucking quads into the apron. I legit thought he got injured. But other than that, this was a fine open.
Yeah, the match itself was great. I mean, it's Austin Theory and LA Knight. They always put on great matches, especially when they're against each other. But the entire stuff with Logan Paul and ISHSP and the Usos, and technically, I don't know why, which I do know, but I don't know why LA is saying, oh, Speed attacked me, when it was Logan that pushed Speed into Knight. So, I mean, I don't know. It could be the entire thing about the brass knuckles, which that's more than likely what it is. But I'm excited to see Speed in this match at WrestleMania, especially because next week I could see him going to Logan and Austin saying, hey, I may be on your team, but that does not mean I will help you, or like as in a double team. I will not have a part in any like cheating or anything, and I'm just going to keep this fair and square. I don't like either of you. Because outside of the ring, yeah, Logan and Speed are friends. But inside of the ring and inside kayfabe, I don't think Speed likes Logan. Especially because he's trying to say, no, I'm not a part of it. And Logan's like, yes, you are. You hit LA Knight. You're a part of this shit. So I'm going to enjoy this at Mania, and I'm enjoying this, and I hope that they go the right way in the direction so Speed can be in the conversation on which celebrity wrestlers are the best, or which celebrities fit in WWE way more than some of the others.
The match itself was great. I absolutely loved it. Austin did his thing, so did Knight. But here's my problem. Boys, we are currently at 13 matches on this WrestleMania card. 13. Which means they have to add a 14 somehow within the next week and a half. So that's the problem.
It's gonna be Wyatt 6 and MFTs, isn't it? Fucking kill me.
Probably, unfortunately. But yeah, we're currently at 13 matches for this. That already passes what last year's Mania was, because I believe last year's was like 12 or something like that. It was either 10 or 12. So I get it. You want this to be one of the biggest Manias yet. Sure. Why are you adding 2 other matches to what easily could have been a 12-match card and would have been just fine? That match, that entire card that we had before you added this 6-man tag was great. It was stacked. But now you're going to have to add another one within a week and a half of the damn show. So it better have been built good, and it better be a good match for that.
The problem is you can argue that most of these matches actually need the Mania stadium. I mean, you could say that we don't need Seth, we don't need Gunther, but I mean, this story with these 6 men has been getting built up for weeks and weeks and weeks since last year when they took Night out. You need the championships defended. When you look at the card top to bottom, most of these matches here, it's just a shame that now you got to wonder which of them are getting cut down on their time and which of them are going to suffer because of that.
Yeah, or it could be another reason why they're trying to get those ticket sales up for WrestleMania. Maybe they're like, hey, let's put some more matches on this card. Maybe that'll get people to buy them. Let's give them more wrestling. Instead of having 10 matches, fuck it, let's add a few more. I don't know if that could be a selling point for some people. I'm sure it is.
I mean, it could be, but I don't see them moving an extra. At this point, they still need to sell like an extra 10 to 15,000 tickets per night. I don't see just adding, Gunther and Seth moving 5,000 units. You know what I'm saying? I don't see a new 6-man tag with no stakes adding 5,000 units sold. There's no extra big match that was announced that would move more tickets that people like, unless you're like, I mean, they got desperate and they brought John Cena to host. They got desperate. Like, I mean, it's just a matter of this year, they unfortunately ran into the problem with too many injuries at all the wrong times. And I feel like we would have had a shorter match card because they would have just focused on the stories that they really cared about. But so many of those stories, unfortunately, hit roadblocks, and this is where we are. It's going to be a great show, guys. So we're just going to have to see what they do. But I do feel bad that I have a feeling in my gut some of these matches are gonna suffer from having to get cut down on.
All right, and then we had Finn Balor versus JD McDonagh. Well, we were supposed to have that match. This was a match that I was also looking forward to because I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be good. Even Finn Balor, when he was doing his entrance, he was speaking to the camera and he said, I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. And I'm like, I bet you have. You got a lot of history with JD McDonagh. I'm sure these two guys would have loved to wrestle each other on Raw TV, and we're going to see it tonight. But Dominic Mysterio had different plans. He said, no, you guys are not going to do this match here in Houston. Not tonight, because Dom attacked Finn Balor from behind, and the attack on Finn Balor continued. The referee never rang the bell. Dominic Mysterio attacked Finn with a steel chair. JD McDonagh helped. And we got no match. Just Dominic Mysterio standing over Finn Balor, pointing at the WrestleMania sign. As much as I love this feud, this story, I was really looking forward to this match, and we did not get.
I'm going to be quick about this. I'm more annoyed that this story has progressed more through promos between Finn and Dom when they're not even in the same room. They're video packaged promos. We've had like 3 from Finn, and I haven't seen them face to face in the ring cutting a one-on-one promo with each other since they jumped Finn out of the Judgment Day. And to me, that's really lazy storytelling. I don't care about the pomp and circumstance of a video package. I want to see these guys face to face hashing out their shit, not doing it via satellite. The second thing is, I would have much rather seen this match because these guys are incredible. JD McDonagh will forever be one of the most underrated guys on the WWE roster list. And I would have much rather seen this match actually happen tonight with interference from Dom during the match rather than the bullshit tag match we got with Team Rio versus B-Fab and Michin later. I feel like that did not need to be on this show because the majority of that feud has been taking place on SmackDown, and it didn't need to be here. So I feel like we could have swapped these out and it would have been much better.
Yeah, I also thought it was. I mean, this was like the only bad thing on the show, in my opinion, is that I wanted to see JD and Finn mainly because they have a lot of history, and they probably would have put on a really good match. But at the same time, it makes sense for Dom to do what he did. Are we talking about Finn's video package or no?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I forgot to.
It makes sense for Finn for later on, which we see Finn's video package that says that Dom has awoken a new side, or not a new, an old side of Finn that we have been seeing for a long time and that he swore he would lock away a long time ago, but it has now been unleashed. If you don't know what that's hinting, then where have you been? But I'm excited for what comes, and I hope that we get the actual reveal instead of just like I don't even know what to call it, the stuff around his face. Basically,
paint?
like what we No, I don't know what it was. It looked like I don't know what to call it, but
Eyeshadow.
no, I just don't know what to call it.
Basically, we're hinting at the demon return.
So this match, I would have loved to see. It is another master versus apprentice type of match. It really is, and I would have loved to see it. Unfortunately, we did not get that match. Fuck you, Dom, for that, because that would have been a fantastic match to see. But because Dom decided to go, hey, you want to know what I'm going to do? Smack this man in the back of the head with my title. That is exactly what Dom did. So it's safe to say that at some point we will get this match. I just really, really wished that it was.
Before we continue, I'm going to go ahead and couple this in with what happened here, because I don't know if we're just going to randomly break down the Judgment Day segment later, so I'm just going to mention it here for time. Yeah, Rox, I had mentioned this last week or the week before that when I was complaining that I said in one of our videos that WWE is doing a lot of great things like story moments in feuds, but they're pulling a trigger on them at the wrong time. Because the Judgment Day jumps Finn, and then 2 weeks later, Roxanne returns to help Liv jump Stephanie. And I said, why didn't you wait to jump Finn after Roxanne returned? Because he's the one that brought Roxanne into the group when he was trying to usurp Liv and piss Liv off. And when she was injured, trying to get Roxanne to link up with Dom, and then they randomly dropped that storyline for no reason after 2 months. Well, we get a little follow-up on that because thank God sometimes WWE does remember continuity. And Liv literally pulls Roxanne aside and goes, hey, I just want to get the elephant out of the room. We kicked Finn out because he stabbed us in the back and betrayed us. Bullshit. And I know he brought you into the group. And I just want to make sure you're okay. And we're on this. And when Roxanne's in the middle of answering, Stephanie jumps Liv from behind in a very scary fucking sneak attack, because the forward momentum that Stephanie launched Liv with, she collided very, very brutally against Roxanne's face. I don't know if you guys saw that. They smacked faces hard. And then Roxanne rolled as far over. I really hope Roxanne's not injured, because she hit so hard it looked like she broke her fucking nose. And I felt immediately concerned for Roxanne's well-being. So I'm hoping, Roxanne, you're okay. Snug Wrestling wishes you complete, safety. We hope you're not hurt. You just came back. We love having you. So I just wanted to put that out there. But it was a very scary bump, and it was really gruesome to watch. I actually audibly screamed, "Oh my fucking God! I hope she's okay."
Get this. We had another one-on-one match. Nice little match between Bayley and Lash Legend. I was like, whoa, what is going on here? Another singles match? What? This is crazy. Yeah, man, I like this for Lash Legend. She's in the ring with a veteran like Bayley, and I was thinking, if someone is gonna really highlight Lash's strengths, it's Bayley. She knows what she's doing in that ring, right? And for the most part, yeah, it was Lash Legend all over Bayley here until the women, every single week, the women's tag team division, they always have to get involved in these matches. And they did. Nia Jax got involved. Alexa Bliss came out. Charlotte came out. Lyra was out there. It was crazy, but Bayley ended up getting the win over Lash Legend. And I was kind of surprised by this, because not only feels like we rarely see Bayley pick up wins, but I thought for sure they were going to try to put Lash over here, especially because we're getting closer to Mania, maybe make the champions look strong. But Bayley got the win, and I'm starting to wonder, shit, we might get new tag team champions at Mania, but that's a conversation for another day. What'd you guys think about this?
First thing I thought midway through the match, because I had no thoughts on it actually until I was about halfway through the match, and I was like, you know what? I love this, because I was like, this is great for Lash Legend. They keep showing that they're taking Lash seriously, and they're making sure she's paired with women that are not only gonna heighten her strengths but hide her weaknesses. And there's so much you can learn from being in the ring with a veteran like Bayley just by wrestling her. You know, there's an old adage in pro wrestling, you know, it's training is great, but the only way you really become a better wrestler is through reps, getting your reps in. And that means getting in the ring and just wrestling, because you learn so much in the match from your opponent, especially when they are a veteran of the caliber of a Bayley. You learn everything from you get better at your timing, you get better at your spot calling, you get better at your selling, you get better at your technical work, your footwork, everything. And Bayley, I think this was one of Lash's best matches since coming up to the main roster. And I think a large part of that is because her dance partner is a fucking horsewoman. I like that Bayley got the win here. I want to also say that almost every NXT call up in the last year, aside from maybe Jada Parker, who isn't getting as much as she should be, I want to say WWE's handling all these call ups so well in the last year. I mean, look at all of them. I mean, you got Lash Legend. Look at Trick Williams. Look at Javon Evans. Look at all these stars they're highlighting from NXT. And I love seeing them in these positions like a Lash Legend getting a one-on-one match on Monday Night Raw against a fucking former horsewoman, a future Hall of Famer, and a former world champion, and putting in great work on her while doing it. I love it. I'd also like to highlight, I thought Nia Jax looked great tonight. I want to say, I think she's been losing weight, and I just wanted to put some positivity out there. I see you, Nia. I see you getting in some really great shape, and I'm proud of you and I'm happy for you. You're doing great out there. And you're also doing great taking care of Lash Legend and taking her under your wing, because people don't like to think of Nia this way, but Nia is a veteran too, and she's a former world champion. So put some respect on Mama's name.
Blood correction, Jada Parker is still in NXT, so I don't know who you're thinking about.
I'm probably blanking on her name. Whoever is with Kiana James, sorry. With Julia.
Yeah. But I 100% agree. This has probably been one of Lash's best one of Lash's best matches since coming up to the main roster. I can't even actually think of any Lash Legend match that I've liked before this one. And Bayley just makes not Lyra. God damn it. Bayley just makes Lash look so damn good that it almost feels right that Bayley got the win over her, which I'm actually glad that she did, because Bayley deserves better. But yeah, just my main thing is that I like how Bayley puts Lash over. I almost said Lyra again. How Bayley puts Lash over and still gets the win, making Lash look better, in my opinion.
This match was great. Of course, Bayley getting the pin. She absolutely deserves that. She deserves way better than what WWE's been giving her. But she also really did make Lash Legend look really damn good and really damn strong here. She really did. But what I love the most didn't even happen. It happened during a commercial segment, during commercial break later on in the show. Kathy Kelly was talking to Bayley and Lyra, and Lyra's response to the question of like how they're feeling, knowing the fact that they had that tag team match for the titles. Now they're here, and they've also got that triple threat as well. I believe it's either a triple threat or a fatal four-way for the tag titles. But Lyra's response was, "Are you seeing us now?" Because that's the biggest problem here. Lyra and Bayley have not been truly shown off as much as the other three competitors in that match have.
It's also important to note that we didn't mention this, and I need to notate this for the record here. They actually, keep in mind, pinned Lash Legend and protected her in the finish, because the only reason Bayley got the pin was because Lyra cheated and held Lash's leg down so she couldn't kick out of the pin. So Lash was still put over in defeat because she was also protected, making it look like it took two people to beat her versus just Bayley on her own. I just want to put that out there.
Finally, we got some answer when it comes to why the hell Gunther attacked Seth Rollins last week, right? This was kind of odd. So we hear from Seth Rollins. I miss Seth Rollins. Glad he's back. What I didn't miss was the people singing his song nonstop for fucking 10 minutes straight. They did that. And Seth announced that he's back. I'm like, bro, we know you've been back for like weeks now. What do you mean? Okay. And yeah, Seth, he's on the same boat. He's like, look, the only thing that makes sense to me, the reason why Gunther attacked me, we have no personal issues. It has to be that he has some type of business relationship with Paul Heyman, right? And when he's cutting the promo on Gunther about his match at WrestleMania with him to the camera, Gunther tries to sneak attack Seth Rollins from behind, but Seth Rollins catches him this time, and they have a little pull apart, a little quick mini pull apart. When Gunther goes to Gorilla, he goes backstage, he runs into Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman thanks Gunther. I don't know why you did it, but I owe you a big thank you. I thought he was going to say I owe you a big favor, but he said I owe you a big thank you. And over the weekend during our interview with Dio, the Black Looney Tune, he had an interesting theory where he said, and I'm starting to believe this is true, the only thing that would make sense here if Paul Heyman is working with Gunther is because Gunther is just trying to figure out a way to get closer to Brock Lesnar. And I think at the end of this little meetup that Paul and Gunther had, Gunther said something along the lines of, you owe me a big favor, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was what was said. So I think that's where this is leading to. I think this is what they're going to do now, but we will see. What you guys think about this this thing that we saw with Gunther and Seth?
Yeah, what he said to Paul was, you owe me a hell of a lot more than just a big thank you. When it comes down to it, I know a lot of people aren't happy about this being what Seth's doing at Mania. But unfortunately, look, injuries happen, and sometimes you don't recover the way that you want to or as fast as you hope people will. In Braun Breaker's case, that might be the case, and maybe they're just worried that rushing him through his recovery is not a good idea. He could obviously re-aggravate those hernias, the surgery. My brother and my best friend both have hernia surgery, and they had to be very careful for like 2 months. You can't rush straight, and they're not athletes. Braun's an athlete. You cannot just have emergency surgery and then get back to getting thrown on your back. You know, like you have to take some time. But either way, even though we might not like that it's Gunther versus Seth per se for the story not having really any additive other than just getting Gunther to Brock, you still got to be happy that at Mania, you get to watch Gunther versus Seth in what's going to be a great fucking match. So that's a positive there. That is going to be potentially match of the weekend. Think about who's involved, okay? For those of you who think that Seth Rollins is better than CM Punk in the ring, I'd like to take you back to fucking SummerSlam last year, where, in my opinion, Gunther and Punk had the match of the weekend in one of the greatest matches I've ever seen either of them wrestle. So if they can do that, imagine what Seth and Gunther can do. Here's the thing as well. The only thing I didn't like about this was that we got no real answer out of Gunther because he said, I'm glad it's personal for Seth. It's personal for me too, just not for the reasons he thinks it is. And with there only being one Raw left, I wanted that explanation tonight so we could have the promo segment of them talking about why next week. Not us getting both in the same segment next week and then Mania 5 days later. That would be my only criticism of this. But other than that, I'm just happy I'm going to get to watch these two tear it down at Mania.
Well, Blood, I want to say I have it figured out, maybe, but I don't know. This is just what my thoughts are. So Gunther could be going after Seth because we all know he has to get to Brock Lesnar eventually. So who's the closest to Brock Lesnar? It's Paul Heyman. Who's the closest to Paul Heyman other than Brock Lesnar and the Vision? Seth Rollins. So, I mean, you get to Seth Rollins, you get to Paul Heyman, and that leads to Brock Lesnar. And here's how I see it going. Next week, we could see Gunther and Heyman in the ring saying, like, hey, I saved your ass. So you can do one thing for me. You can give me a match with Brock Lesnar to end his career. That's that's what I think is next. So, I mean, I don't exactly know what is after that, but I just know that he wants to end Brock's career, and that's how he's gonna get it, is through Seth and then through Heyman, obviously.
So basically, what's happening here is Gunther is playing a massive game of four-dimensional chess. And boy, is he playing it well. Because as Toxic just said, he just explained it the best here, that he specifically is going after Brock. And some capacity, he's going for Brock, which means he needs to go to some of the closest people connected, which means going through Rollins to get to Heyman, to get that match with Brock. That's just what needs to happen here. And I would not mind having Gunther end Brock Lesnar's career, although I feel like that honor should also kind of sort of go to Braun Breaker as well. So there is that.
There's also something everybody's missing as well. There's another way to this. I do disagree, though, Tommy, with it being Braun getting to getting to Brock Lesnar's, because this has been their plan for like 3 months that they've been talking about in all the reports, that Gunther Brock was always in game in later this year at SummerSlam. But people are forgetting, Gunther is also a man who the mat is sacred, right? That's his character. He is the mat is sacred. Anything that tarnishes that is sacrilege to his religion of pro wrestling. He's going after Seth. In my opinion, this is my prediction. It could be wrong. Seth has beaten Brock Lesnar. Many people forget Seth beat Brock at Mania several years ago. If Gunther can prove that he can beat Seth, that means Gunther can prove to himself that he knows he can beat Brock. So if I can take you down, then I definitely can take Brock down. And if he gets in the ring with Brock, he's going to tell him in a promo, you think you're so big and bad, but let's just say that Oba wins. But you lost to an up-and-comer who just got in this company. You lost to a man that I beat at WrestleMania. And now that same man who lost me at Mania, who has also beaten you, I am going to end your career, Brock Lesnar. You're not the beast anymore, Brock. You're just a bitch that I'm going to make tap out. And that's what I think that's going to lead to. I think it's a game of ego for Gunther. And it's going to be an old Yeller scenario for Brock. I'm going to give you a mercy killing, and I'm going to take you out and end your career at SummerSlam. That's what I think this is.
Then we had a 6-man tag team match. Los Americanos, the pride and joy of Mexico, the best luchadors in the world, the legendary Americanos, wrestled Dragon Lee, Penta, and Javon Evans. It's a fun 6-man tag team match. This is to build up the ladder match at WrestleMania. All of these guys, well, no, actually just Penta, Javon, and Dragon Lee are going to be in the ladder match. And Javon Evans got the pin. This was high-flying lucha style stuff going on here. Exciting stuff. But after the match, we get an unexpected guest, Rey Mysterio. And it kind of reminded me of like what we mentioned earlier about WWE being desperate by adding John Cena. Rey Mysterio just came back from injury. He's had multiple injuries just this year alone, I feel like. And they're going to bring Rey back to put him in one of the most dangerous matches ever, a fucking ladder match. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, Rey Mysterio got added to the ladder match.
The match was great. I do want to say I love Javon. I really do. I consistently worry about him at his young age. I think eventually he's going to have to get rid of that OG cutter. Look, you do a move long enough that's that dangerous, it's going to have really bad effects on your back. Hulk Hogan said he wishes if he could go back and change one thing about his career, aside from all the racism and being a piece of shit, it would be the leg drop. He said the leg drop destroyed his back, his vertebrae, and his lumbar, and it's the main reason he had to have so many back surgery. Stone Cold Steve Austin said the Stone Cold Stunner, jumping up and throwing yourself on your ass, same exact issue. If you're going to drop 15 feet out of the air every week straight onto your spine, you can only do that so fucking long before it catches up. And tonight, he sold the pain of the move before he went for the cover, Javon, but he landed flat on his back as you're supposed to do. It's a nice flat back bump. But I do worry that if he does that move too long, he's gonna have a very short career. When it comes down to it, Ray getting added into the match, fine. But I'd also like to note, this is also frustrating. WWE being impatient, being desperate, and again, like I said before, pulling the trigger on things instead of waiting to see. Or they do a story beat that's great, like having, Gunther attack Rollins literally a week before Ray is back. And people are like, Mr. Blood, why are you talking about this? It's because Ray was the original planned opponent for Gunther at WrestleMania. That's why they were setting up the shit with Gunther attacking and going after Dragon Lee. It was supposed to be Gunther versus Ray at WrestleMania. And then Ray got hurt. And so they moved on from it, kept Gunther off of TV for three-ish weeks. And then they're like, oh, we'll just have him attack Rollins because it looks like Braun Breaker's not coming back. Then literally a week before they bring Ray back, Gunther returns too. And I'm like, if you just waited a week, we could have still got Ray and Gunther, and we could have figured something out for Seth. It's just a matter of I understand, WWE, that you're panicking. We're really close to Mania. But when you jump the gun on stuff, you still could have had the match you wanted had you just waited 1 week.
I popped big for Ray getting added into this match because Ray is one of the best luchadors of all time. Actually, no, fuck that. He is the best luchador of all time. I don't give a shit what Snug says. And also, yeah, Los Americanos, Rayo and Bravo, they should have won at Stand and Deliver. You can argue with a brick wall. But the match was amazing. Probably match of the night. And I do think that they basically not confirmed, but hinted at Dom being the one to retire Ray, because if we go later, I don't remember if it's later on or early on. I don't know when
it was before.
Okay, yeah. In the backstage segment where Stephanie attacked Liv and Roxanne, before Roxanne even popped onto the screen, you can hear JD tell Dom, we need to figure out a way to get your deadbeat out of the ladder match. So I feel like that's going to be the story heading into Ray's retirement, because I've been hearing all over TikTok and Instagram that, like, at Clash in Italy, I think it is, that's when Ray is done. That's what I've been hearing, but I'm not exactly sure. But I think that's going to be the story leading into Ray's retirement. And I am completely on board for it.
That's what I've been hearing as well, Tox, and I would not be surprised if that is true. And I know with that tag match at Stand and Deliver, you are the brick wall, and I will gladly argue about that, but now is not the time for that. But I am still happy that Ray is being added to this ladder match. I really am, because he fits so well. It is 5 high flyers and then Rusev. That is what this match is. It is 5 really fast high flyers that love being off the top rope and all of that. And then you've got Rusev, who's just there because power. But overall, I am so hyped for this. I really, really am. The match itself was great. And I'm so happy that once again, Javon Evans gets the pin to push him even more.
All right, then the women's tag team match. Good old Rhea Ripley the challenger for the WWE Women's Champion at WrestleMania versus Jade Cargill, teamed up with her really, really good friend Io Sky. And they wrestled Michin and B-Fab, who we've been seeing them on SmackDown, but they were on Raw tonight. And I thought this was good because, we're seeing Michin and B-Fab get some more TV time. And, they had a match versus two of the biggest stars on Raw. That's pretty cool, Rhea and Io. And they did a little angle at the end. I'm pretty sure Rhea and Io won this match. I'm not really sure. I wasn't paying too much attention to the actual match, but Jade Cargill ends up and her crew end up attacking Rhea and Io at the end, and they kind of did the thing where they forced Rhea Ripley to see Jade Cargill beat her good friend Io Sky with the kendo stick. And man, Jade Cargill did not hold back. She will fucking let Io Sky have it, and even broke the kendo stick in half with all the force that Jade gave those swings. But yeah, man, I'm really liking this thing that they're doing with Rhea and Jade. I'm really actually looking forward to this match.
It was fine. I still don't think it belonged on the show. I think this should have been left over on SmackDown because I would have loved to have the Finn and JD match actually take place. I would have been happier if we had traded one out for the other. I think the women are doing their best. I am happy to see B-Fab and Michin actually being utilized. You got to remember that B-Fab's, original team, Top Dollar and Ashante, the Adonis, they got let go from WWE like a year or so ago, and she was just floating around on SmackDown here and there, here and there. Michin was on injury for a while, but again, they started using her a lot before she got injured. She was doing a lot of mid-card stuff, a lot of hardcore stuff with Chelsea Green. I'm happy to see it. The only weird thing was just some of the pacing of this angle after the match. Just, I don't know why Io stayed in downward dog for what felt like an awkward fucking forever. And then, like, as soon as Jade grabs Kim, said, now she's like, oh, now I'll stand up, and now I'll and I was like, it was kind of just, it was odd. It was awkward. It was like a really awkward, like, you're taking too long to finish the segment. So Io has to weirdly stay in that position for an absurd amount of time, it felt like. And I was like, are you going to get up? Like, yeah, I mean, it was fine. I'm not as high on this match as I was when the feud started. Just because of just the awkwardness and them kind of jankily, then randomly throwing Michin and B-Fab into it. I'm happy for them, but it was still like random to do it because the feud was going on for like 3 weeks before they were even a part of it. But yeah, I mean, it'll be fine. It'll be a good match. I'm sure Rhea can get a good match out of Jade at Mania. I hope, but I have faith in Rhea. But yeah, this is fine.
Hey, Seth, I think Jade's stealing from your closet because what the fuck was she wearing? It looked like fucking. You know that one outfit that Seth had before Elimination Chamber where it looked like that giant ass like cooking oven mitt thing? Yeah, that's what she looked. That's what she looked like if it was fluffier. That's what she looked like.
Who wore it best?
I'm not. I don't even know, but the match was fine. The stuff after the match was fine. I do want to state that B-Fab works so much better as a heel for me than she does a face because I cannot buy her as a face whatsoever. She just, her vibe, her character vibes, it just leans towards heel. And I feel like to make this more like, to add on to the story and have Rhea like actually give Jade a good match, which they're gonna get a good match out of Rhea and Jade either way. But I feel like they should have done something to I don't want to say bleed, but make like bust EO open to like give that effect like how it was for Jay and Jimmy with Gunther last year.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Damn, y'all are savages, huh?
I mean, it's just I'm gonna say I think John Cena said it. I'm not sure or Triple H. What's best for business? I'm kidding. But everything was fine other than Jade's fucking outfit and that small detail.
I like what you said there. I do believe you. I think you're on the right money. It's funny because I'm on the opposite side. B-Fab does make more sense. She does feel like a natural heel, but Michin literally feels like a natural face, and I don't buy her as a heel.
Here's my biggest problem with this. This feels like a rehash from Gunther and Jay. Like right after this match feels like just a full-blown rehash of what happened with Gunther and Jay when it comes to Jimmy. Look at that. You have your opponent, who is not the champion yet, tied up to the corner or just full-blown being held there in Rhea Ripley's case, while either their friend or sibling is being beaten the crap out of by the champion. This just feels like a massive rehash of what happened with Jay Uso. And that's what upsets me about this. It's the fact that they keep using these same stories and same beats over and over and over again. That's my problem. And that's what's happening with Jade and Rhea. It's just Gunther and Jey Uso all over again.
Well, all right. When is the last time we saw a contract signing for a non-title match was my first thought when we were seeing Brock Lesnar and Femi prepare, for their contract signing. And it wasn't a contract signing. They just ended up beating each other up at the end of this. They had to pull apart. Security was trying to break them up. But I shouldn't be surprised because I'm like, are we really going to see Brock Lesnar have a sit down with Femi after 2 weeks of Femi embarrassing Brock Lesnar and getting the better of Brock? Nope. Brock didn't even let Femi step foot in the ring and went for the attack. But I feel like I'm going to say this is the third week in a row where Femi gets the better of Brock Lesnar. I'm going to say if we're going to pick winners, if we have to pick a winner of who won this little brawl, this little pull apart, I'm going to say Femi.
I got to be honest. I think this was the best thing on the show and the worst thing on the show. And I'll tell you why. It's the best thing because what a great way to keep making Oba look like an absolute threat, like an absolute monster. Brock having to rush him because he needs to catch Oba off guard to get the upper hand. It makes Brock seem and feel desperate, right? And we want that, right? We want Oba to feel like such a massive threat that the only way that Brock feels like he can actually get over on this guy is cheap attacks and cheap shots. Not something Brock's really known for doing. Brock is not afraid. Brock is usually like, I am direct and I will walk up to kick you in the dick and you will take this F5, bitch. Like, that is Brock Lesnar. Look what he did to the security guards. He was like, you go to eat this shit whether you want to or not. That's why they pay me the big bucks, because I'll ragdoll you and you don't have a choice. I did feel bad for the table because he didn't even throw Brock. No one got put through the table. It was Oba tried to tackle him. Brock trips backwards, and that poor table was like, that's a lot of weight. And the table just breaks under like a combined 500 pounds of man falling over. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a table just break from two guys tipping backwards onto it. Like, I was like, God damn. But I like how big a deal this felt, right? I like that not only was Adam Pearce out there, Triple H was out there. And he was playing interference too. He can't get physically involved anymore since his heart surgeries. But he's out there pulling debris out of the way so no one gets hurt. He's making sure, he's dragging the office chair out of the way so nobody falls on it. I'm like, that's a dad, And then they start using the office chair as a weapon. I'm like, Brock, what are you doing? Don't throw that. You might hit one of these extras in the back of the fucking head with one of the chair wheels. And then it hits somebody. And then Oba's like, oh yeah, well, I'll throw it right back. And then it nails one of the other guys in the leg. I'm like, you guys are just creating collateral damage. I was like, these guys are not paid enough for this shit. But I did notice when Brock came out, the copyright logo, and I thought this whole segment was going to get cut off. So the worst thing about the show for me was my entire high level I felt for this dropped because I thought we were going to get fucked out of the ending. So I never came back up because I was waiting for the screen to just cut to black on. And so when they did that copyright logo, it just took me out of it immediately. And that's my low point.
Yeah, that's the one thing I hate about this. All the chaos and everything, it's fine. It's great. But that's the one thing I hate. Tommy and Snug are gonna realize what I'm, or not realize, are gonna get what I'm comparing this to. But this almost felt like with the end. I don't know what it's called. The end stuff.
Credits?
Yeah, the credits. Thank you. With the credits popping up, this almost felt like when Ricky Saints got done with the match when he was champion, and Oba's music hit, and all we saw was Oba's shadow on the roof. I was like, what the fuck? But unlike that, we actually got to see the rest of the segment. But I like how you didn't even need a contract signing. All you needed was a fake contract signing, or not even fake, whatever you want to call it, but just like a setup, because you obviously know that this match doesn't need a contract signing. Like, it's happening. This is just for shits and giggles.
Yes, Toxic, you are absolutely fucking right. This does, in fact, feel like when Oba Femi returned to NXT. It really does. And I'm completely with you on that. It really does feel like that. But he is also right in the fact that this didn't actually need a full-blown contract signing. All it needed was 2 tables and these 2 giant men. That is it. That is all this needed. Because we all know at this point, that these 2 big meaty men were going to end up slapping meats eventually tonight. It was just going to happen. Ayo, pause, I know, but that's Big E's wording, not mine. But still, we all knew that these 2 can't even be in the same ring as of recently without somebody getting beat up. It was just going to happen. And Snug, I am going to correct you on this. It was not last week that Brock got took out again. It was not last week. Because last week was the week that Triple H came out and ruined all of that process. But still, I am still super, super hyped.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's going to be dope. Really looking forward to that one. So we got one more Monday Night Raw left before Mania. And it's going to be here in my hometown. I'm going to be there. Looking forward to that. And then it's WrestleMania, y'all. God damn, I can't believe it. This shit is right around the corner now, y'all. It's fucking crazy. But we will see what happens tomorrow on NXT and on Friday Night SmackDown. It's going to be a fun week, y'all. But let's get up out of here.
All right, guys. That was this episode of Snug Wrestling, doing, I believe, the April 6th edition of Monday Night Raw as we are heading into the road to WrestleMania's end. Thank you guys for hanging out with us as always. If you like joining us every single week, you can do that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays after Raw, NXT, and SmackDown go off the air respectively for live post-show reviews. And of course, join us during those shows segment to segment while the shows are still on air for live reaction content. And of course, kick it with us on Thursday nights on TikTok Live for 1 hour where myself, Mr. Blood, and the head of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, do 1 hour TikToks on relevant or random wrestling topics where we also answer your fan questions live. We also have a special guest joining us this Thursday for our TikTok 1 hour, but I don't think we'll be live on TikTok. We might be live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube because we cannot do a 3 setup over there for what we have in mind, but we will have a guest this Thursday. Of course, speaking of guests, we are doing on the 15th of April, the Wednesday before WrestleMania, our one-night prediction of WrestleMania. That will be with the entire crew, and then there will be another night that week, possibly Thursday or Friday. We have yet to know, but we will, of course, let you know. Myself and Edgar will be doing a night 2 prediction with a special guest. So that will be starting on Wednesday the 15th. But guys, until next time, stay safe, stay savage, stay snug. And remember to support Snug Wrestling by heading over to our teepublic.com, teepublic.com/Snug Wrestling to pick up your Snug Wrestling merchandise and support the podcast. Until next time, guys. Boys, I said that was one time for the one time because there's only one Raw left. I said that was
Four letters.
Four letters.
One word.
One word.